Welcome everybody
Hello.
to the official weigh-ins for UFC 254 Khabib versus Gaethje. Who do we have with us today? We have Mike Heck joining us today. We have Jose Youngs on site as he has been there for about, I believe, 3 months or years. Jose Youngs lives in Abu Dhabi now. We have
Time doesn't exist, right?
Leiden in the truck, of course, and then me speaking right now, Alexander K. Lee. So thank you everyone for joining us. I see we have over 1,000 people already. Surely everyone in an appropriate time zone. I don't think no one is as kooky as us over on the East Coast or the West Coast in Casey's case to actually stay up for this. But we do it for you and for all you viewers out there again who are in reasonable time zones, right? So anyone in North America, shout out if you're in North America and just up and you're just a straight up junk.
Woo, North America! Woo woo! I love North America. Woo! It's the best. It's the highest America, man. Yeah, North. Yeah.
So as everyone knows, mostly we'll try to shut up for the first half hour, 45 minutes or so, as we get our first rush of weigh-ins. Fingers crossed, we get our main event official, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Justin Gaethje. Let's hope they come in quickly and get that out of the way. We don't need that kind of drama.
Yeah, we're not here for drama.
No, we don't want drama.
No.
We don't want weigh-in drama. We don't want to string our viewers along. We want everyone, again, anyone who's on the East Coast specifically, to be able to go to sleep at a reasonable time. I'm sure they're just waiting to see the main event. And hopefully all 24 fighters weighing in today will successfully make weight. We'll see. Mike, how are you feeling? How are you feeling at this lovely hour right now?
Like you always say, why do we do what we do, AK? Why do we do what we do? No, I was actually excited for this all day. I'm ready for it. As the hours approached, I was like getting a little more tired. Then I watched some fighting on UFC Fight Pass. Frank Mir's daughter got a win in her MMA debut, so that was cool, and led right into going live with all of you fine folks. So, and plus I'm just so fired up for Saturday, for the main event, the early start time. I mean, everything's just coming up Mike right now, and I love it.
Everything's coming like Truck. How are things over on the West Coast? You're a little bit more of a reasonable time, though. Still a little straight.
I'm seeing some movement.
Oh,
I have a feeling we might see a certain Dagestani win first.
Ooh.
Which one could it be?
No confirmation, but I see.
No confirmation.
Wow, I'm blanking on his name. One of his managers is standing at the door speaking with someone, so I'm assuming.
Alexander Volkov? No, I was kidding.
Probably.
Magomed Ankalaev.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, I mean, you may hear us say names every now and then. Those are vocal exercises. We are professionals here. Gotta keep it's a tool like any other. You need to keep it warmed up. Otherwise, someone might get hurt, and we don't want anyone to get hurt watching. Please leave comments. I'll tell you people, we probably, for now, again, won't get to any of the comments for a little bit, but if you have some pressing question, maybe save it for a little bit later in the show, and we'll share it. But right now we just see people spamming 29-0 or 28-1, I guess, for people who are favoring Gaethje. So it's an exciting time.
John Anik has the mic, guys.
Okay.
Oh man.
10-9-8-7-6.
Oh, John Anik and his favorite numbers.
Dude, John Anik's shoes are on point right now.
He's up there right now saying Shavkat Rahmanov.
Hey, Casey, let's see the weigh-in chart. Real quick.
Hit him with the graphic. Ooh,
there you go. I know that's what people want to see right now.
that is pretty.
Oh, you know what?
Oh, Khabib is here, guys.
Khabib is here. How are we? Let's see. Oh yes, people are tuning in. People can sense that Khabib was going to show up first.
With the official weigh-in for UFC 254, Khabib versus Gaethje, first fighter to the scale, the man around whom this card was built, the undisputed UFC lightweight champion, Khabib Nurmagomedov.
There he is.
Now, last time when Khabib weighed in for Dustin Poirier, he had to get into the hoop of shame. So let's.
He doesn't look concerned right now. No hoop. First man in.
Don't need it again.
He does want to. He does want the hoop.
Jose, your camera's a little overexposed. Can you? Well, maybe I can adjust it from here.
Can't adjust while we're recording, so I can do it once we're.
No hoop. We're going old school towel. Okay.
All right.
I don't understand, but fair enough. Whatever works.
Superstition.
$155. $155. The official weight for Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Boy, I gotta tell you, the way he stood on the scale and like put his hands on his face, I was like, oh god.
That was a very
And then they said,
quick weigh-in. Quick, like.
Yes.
All right.
What are
He
you
did
implying?
not look. He did not look confident. But for anyone who couldn't hear that, 155 Khabib Nurmagomedov. So that is one half of Saturday's lightweight championship unification bout official. So we are now waiting for Justin Gaethje to make that completely official. But so far, so good. Mike, now that you've seen him avec towel, with it, as they say in French, what do you think of his chances on Saturday?
man,
Just based, I don't want your pick yet. Just based on what we saw in the last 5 minutes. Go.
the same that they were 6 minutes ago. I mean,
all right.
it's a great fight. I mean, you know me well enough by now. I'm a to be the man, you got to beat the man kind of guy. So I'm definitely going to lean towards Khabib. And even with him stepping on the scale, still leaning towards Khabib.
Ooh.
That was exciting.
I was hoping for some hot take. That his hesitancy on the scale. Sam Alvey, the veteran, coming up to make 205. Let's see.
I hear he's ducking Todd Dovey.
Don't start. Don't start.
Just a rumor.
Whoever keeps doing that for every card is just amazing.
Dedicated.
206, the official weight for Sam Alvey.
206 for Sam Alvey, using that 1 pound allowance. Why not? He will be fighting Da Eun-jung, Korea's own Da Eun-jung. Sam Alvey, some tough times. He's lost his last 4 fights. He hasn't won since June 2018. And he's got a tough matchup ahead of him. He's facing a guy who's won 12 straight. So 2 guys are going opposite directions. We'll see how that turns out on Saturday. But definitely not an easy fight for Sam Alvey. That's 2 down, guys. 2 down. We are
women's flyweight division and making her UFC debut here tomorrow. Please welcome Miranda Maverick.
Oh, Invicta's Miranda Maverick, the youngest fighter on the card, just 23 years old.
Working on her PhD while she is a professional fighter in the UFC. So multifaceted Miranda Maverick.
126. 126, the official weight for Miranda Maverick.
126 for Miranda Maverick. I didn't know that about the PhD, Mike. When you said that, I went, oh man, because I'm just thinking, this is usually where I ask everyone, what were you doing when you were 23 years old? I doubt that you were, making a UFC debut. You know what I should say? Some of you might have been working on their PhDs, but probably not making their UFC debuts while also working on their PhDs. So 23 years old, Mike. I think last time we had a fighter who was like 21, and I asked about that.
She's going for a doctorate in kicking ass.
School of Hard Knocks. Sorry, guys. We spoke over. This is Shavkat Rahmanov.
This is a great fight on Saturday.
This is a tough. This is making his UFC debut. This is a tough test.
171. 171, the official weight for Shavkat Rahmanov.
171 for Shavkat Rahmanov, who is facing a replacement in the always game, Alex Cowboy Oliveira. So, and he was facing a tough opponent. He was supposed to fight Alessio Zaleski before that, so it was already a tough veteran. So they're very high on Rahmanov, who is from Kazakhstan. 12-0, former M1 champion. But
a great fight.
Cowboy Oliveira, Man, that is a tough matchup. But again, they must be very, very high in this case because that is two. That was two. They had one veteran. They placed another veteran.
Heavyweight division. He is Thai Bam Tuivasa.
This man loves corned beef.
Yes,
Sure does.
he loves corned beef. I've heard he was not doing shoeies before this fight. Is this correct?
You do them after the fight, right?
I of course. I don't know.
Jeez, get out of here. Get out of here, okay? It's too late for you.
265, the official weight for Thai
Championship weight.
Championship weight. Thank you.
265. Our favorite heavyweight championship weight. Tai Tuivasa. Also, I mentioned Sam Alvey before was on a losing streak. Tai Tuivasa also 3-fight losing streak after starting his UFC career with 3 straight wins. So
one half of the co-main event here tomorrow night, the former undisputed UFC middleweight champion of the world and now the #1 ranked contender, Robert Whittaker.
The Reaper, Robert Whittaker.
No, Bobby Knuckles.
The Reaper, his only nickname that I'm aware of. The Reaper, Robert Whittaker.
Bobby Knuckles.
Not familiar with that name.
I saw it on a T-shirt.
It's one of those nicknames that he didn't embrace at first, but he's definitely fully embracing it now.
Yeah, because it's whack.
186, the official weight for Robert Whittaker.
186. Again, former champion, and doesn't have to worry about that now. You can use that extra pound. So there you go. 1/2 of Saturday's middleweight co-main event, and possibly a #1 contenders bout, Mike. I mean, for Jared Cannonier, definitely. For Robert Whittaker,
I mean, maybe.
Depends on how he wins.
Next member to the scale, he will serve as a backup for the main event.
There you go.
Potentially makes his UFC debut here tomorrow night. Please welcome Michael Chandler.
I actually forgot about this because I'm a fool.
By the way, this will be Robert Whittaker's first 3-round fight in 4 years.
Right. No. Oh, yes, right, because Darren Till was the main event. Yeah, correct. Yes, that's right. I hadn't even thought about that.
You're such a fool, Alex.
I don't know if people know this.
Jose already dunking on AK. It's 8 minutes
into
the weigh-in.
Just don't break out Sam Rockwell, please.
As they say in the business, we're at the weigh-ins.
Oh, such a cliche.
This man works out.
No.
155, the official weight for Michael Chandler.
155 for Michael Chandler, officially on championship weight as an alternate for Saturday's main events.
Jose, did Chandler talk about how much is he getting his full fight purse? Is he getting just a free Reebok kit? What is he going? What's his compensation? No one asked. Oh, interesting.
No one asked.
Maybe
that's why you need to be here, Casey.
I know.
All right, now back to the UFC
payment, women's MMA.
Light heavyweight Daun Jung up next. "12 straight wins for this man, 2-0 in the UFC so far, both finishes. So flying a little bit under the radar, but this is one of those fights could get him after this. He probably jumps up in the rankings quite a bit, and to get a nice 3-0 start.
The official weight for Daun Jung.
206 for Daun Jung. So we have ourselves another fight official, Daun Jung and Sam Alvey. Okay, cruising along here so far. Again, guys, we're going to give you more analysis. We'll get to some of your comments and questions later, but of course, we don't want to get into any extended, rants.
All right, next fighter to the scale, making his UFC debut live on pay-per-view here tomorrow in the middleweight division, Phil Hawes.
Oh, Phil Hawes.
A special place in AK's heart for Phil Hawes.
Well, all right, we'll explain this later. Phil Hawes looking to make the middleweight limit after finally earning himself a Contender Series contract earlier this year.
The Bellator veteran.
Bellator World Series of Fighting.
1 186, the official weight for Mr. Hawes.
186 and hitting the pose.
Former training partner of John Jones.
That's right. A highly vaunted prospect. To this, I was gonna say once upon a time, but still is actually, I would say, in the minds of many. And finally making his UFC debut after a few starts and stops. 186. Thank you.
Our next fighter to the scale, he'll be competing about at a catch weight of 140 pounds, Casey Kenny.
We have a catch weight, a fight that our own Mike Heck predicted on our show. On to the next one, Casey Kenny and Nathaniel Wood, 140-pound catch weight fight. Both guys, strong future bantamweight contenders.
Arizona's own.
But both eager to get another fight on their resume and saying, screw it, let's go catch weight 140.
This fight should have been on the main card.
140 on the nose, the official weight for Casey Kenny.
He knows the drill. He just weighed in 2 weeks ago.
This man just wants to fight. He wants to he wants to build up that resume, and he wants to be, I imagine, a title challenger probably by some point in 2021. He could do it if he fights this frequently. He's a hell of a talent.
Next up, the fighter who will serve as a backup for that catchweight affair, Sergey Morizov.
What?
Some breaking news?
Another backup went. Yeah, Sergey. I believe I saw someone mention this before. Sergey Morizov weighing in as a backup for. Did they say for that fight for Kenny Wood?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
He was supposed to be fighting Said Nurmagomedov.
That's very okay.
Right.
Touché.
So they couldn't find him a fight. So
139.5 pounds, the official weight for Sergey Morizov.
okay.
All right, so we'll get a couple bucks.
Sure, 139.5. Hopefully he's getting compensated for this, whether he's using an alternate or not. Sorry guys, I gotta update our Twitter here. Morizov.
All right, next up in the UFC's lightweight division, Joelle Alvarez.
Joelle Alvarez.
I love UFC weigh-ins. Just random dudes show up sometimes and make weight. It's exciting.
I know. Were they aware? Did Morizov insist? He's like, I'm weighing in. I'm weighing in.
I don't care what you say. I'm coming.
I love hearing Khabib say the last name Alvarez. It's like one of my favorite things in MMA.
Gonna have to do the impression right after this.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
159.5, the official weight for Joelle Alvarez.
Ooh.
Oh, this is not a catchweight bout, but this is a lightweight bout. So that is Joelle Alvarez coming in quite heavy.
Coming in heavy and coming in very early.
Yes.
Yeah,
we know what that means. We'll break that down later.
Right now, Israel Adesanya is in New Zealand, and he just got a mean feeling right now. He's like, what's going on?
Furious.
So
that is a.
So Alvarez.
Well, Jose, can you break out that Alvarez, the Nurmagomedov Alvarez pronunciation?
Alvarez.
Alvarez.
You fight.
Alvarez.
Like this guy, when he fights Alvarez, that's how we talked about when the Conor fight. Because he won't say his name. He goes, "This guy." When he knocked out Alvarez, it's one of my favorite things in the world.
I like it. So we will. Well, we'll see. We'll see if there's a. We'll talk about this. I guess a few weigh-in situations we got to talk about, but that is our first miss of the day. Joelle Alvarez weighing in for a lightweight bout with Alexander Yakovlev. We will see how Yakovlev comes in, and if he makes weight, whether this fight will go forth, and what the penalty could be for Mr. Joelle Alvarez, who's a pretty promising prospect at 155. But you hate to see such an egregious weight miss.
That was a big one. 159.5.
Now was that so? AK, you were predicting there would be at least one weight miss. Was this the guy?
Yes. That was not the one. That surprised me. But yes, the fact that he came in early. Mike, do you want to explain to you what that usually means, or what that has meant recently when we've seen guys kind of come in early and miss by such a large amount?
Means that his opponent's going to get some extra money, a little bit extra cashola, a couple extra bucks. But I mean, this fight was one of the last fights booked on this card, so not throwing excuses out there, but just to put a little context on it, it's not like this one has been booked for 3 months. I believe it's only been on the card for 2.5 weeks, maybe. So, maybe he just had to cut more weight than he anticipated. So, sucks, but hopefully we still get to see this fight because, like you said, Alvarez is a pretty exciting prospect in this division. He's coming off that submission win over Joe Duffy, so we'll see. Yakovlev probably will not be missing weight because he's.
We'll take that now in the UFC's middleweight division. Jacob Malkoun.
Australia's own. Jake, I almost went to an Australian accent there. I apologize for everyone. Australia's own. It's like when I say Melbourne, and people hate that. Jacob Malkoun making his UFC. His 5th professional fight. Making his UFC debut.
When was the last time we had a middleweight in the UFC with only making his debut with only 4 fights? That's.
Did not tell you.
This is rare.
And it's not even a short notice fight either. I mean, I think it was booked pretty.
Hamza.
He's not a replacement or anything.
Hamza.
Had to mention. Our ratings just went up. Can you just mention Hamza?
186, the official weight for the UFC newcomer Jacob Malkoun.
Wasn't he like 6-0, 5-0?
Yeah, this guy's only 4-0.
Not good enough.
Clearly, he's better.
Yeah, you can make it that quickly, right? Malkoun, again, not very experienced in MMA, but has had some ADCC grappling experience, a little bit of pro boxing, a smidge of pro boxing. So apparently,
was that 186?
That was 186. So apparently, all that experience made it a little bit difficult for him to find an opponent back in Australia. But I guess Phil Haas was looking to get on this card, and they needed to find an opponent, someone from international. And there you go, Jacob Malkoun signed up. So interesting fight. I think Haas is pretty heavily favored, but Malkoun is such an unknown property. I don't know. We can see.
Weighing in as a backup in the light heavyweight division is he
Another backup apparently.
I am totally lost. I was aware of the Chandler. I knew about Morizov. I'm sorry. Who? They said this is who?
John Morgan just looks at me and he's like, "What is going on?"
Jose, let's do a quick experiment. Can you actually kind of go backstage and see if you can weigh in just to see what happens?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are they just letting anyone up on stage now? Wait, who is this? I have no idea who this is.
Right? I
Exactly.
missed that. I apologize.
203 and a half, the official weight for Izzy Fitakefta.
I'm still
Good luck typing this one out.
Hold on. www.typology.com. What?
Wait, who's your replacement? Who's the backup fighter for?
I get one of the light heavyweight fights. So
any of the light heavyweight?
It's gotta be Kudalaba, Ankalaev.
It has to. Yeah. That's a pretty snake bitten fight.
I will credit to the scale. First one I see on Twitter. Lightweight champion who chases undisputed greatness here tomorrow night, Justin Gaethje.
Oh, let's worry about Justin Gaethje first. We'll sort out that other mystery in a moment. Goodness me.
Gentlemen, I am so excited for this fight.
I thought you were excited for Izzy. Question mark.
That's what I'm talking about. Sorry, let's focus on this main event real quick.
155 championship weight for Justin Gaethje.
On the money, 155 for the highlight. Justin Gaethje, no problem. Yes. I was known on Twitter yelling. I will even take insults. Normally, when we screw up, someone goes like, "How do you not know who Izzy is, you idiots?" Someone hurl an insult at me. I'll also look at the comments. Someone please explain what happened there. That was a new one to me.
Even the official UFC news Twitter page does not even have the weight. So I literally have no.
I am going to tweet this out by the time.
Oh, okay. So
sure. Okay, please.
So I just got a random text. I'm trying to figure out who this individual is, but I've been told that from an anonymous source that a corner of Ion Kutalaba tested positive and they were looking for a
Oh my
backup, and this guy was on the island. So as of now, nothing has changed there. And then I asked this anonymous source, is he who? And I got not an effing clue. So I can't. so the answer we were really looking for, we still have not received yet.
Okay, America, I will not lie to you and tell you that we know who this is yet. As soon as we figure it out, Jose, if you hear anything, please let us know. Please send us a message in our company Slack so we can. Oh, thank you. UFC News says, Izzy. This is not helpful. Oh gosh, help me. Okay, Izzy Fitikifu. Issy, ISI, by the way, Fitikifu, not Izzy like Izzy Edison. Yeah. I will have that information out there. Thank you, UFC News Twitter account. That was scary.
I predict at some point tomorrow, Khamzat Chimaev is fighting. He'll just show up in the cage. If we're gonna go judging by these weigh-ins, Khamzat's fighting tomorrow.
I want to help people with this. Okay, Izzy. He is from Australia. He is 6-0. He fought last October at an Eternal MMA show, winning by unanimous decision. And he has about 3 wins by knockout and 1 win by submission. So, shame on us. Shame on us for not knowing who this was. So I apologize to Izzy Fitikifu for probably butchering his name. And 2, for not knowing that he was weighing as an alternate. I'm still not entirely sure.
Nobody did. Nobody knew. Nobody did.
It's our job to know. This is our job to know. So whatever you people, I'm not reading the comments right now, but whatever you guys are saying in the comments,
Our next
you're
fighter to the scale, part of the main card opener live on pay-per-view in the light heavyweight division. The number 11 ranked 205, Magomed Ankalaev.
Okay, this gentleman is fighting, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, as far as you know, everybody's fighting.
Okay.
Yeah, just backups, just in case. We're trying to make sure.
We'll go over the history of this matchup later as well. It's quite a history between Ankalaev and Kuchalaba, which apparently has another chapter.
205.5, the official weight for Magomed Ankalaev.
Okay. Ankalaev on weight for what is the fifth booking, I should say, between him, because they actually did fight once. Very controversial ending to their first encounter last year. Oh, sorry, in February. I shouldn't say last year. It was in February. And then the rematch has been rebooked multiple times and fallen through for various reasons, which, again, we'll detail later. Don't want to get into it now while we're waiting for, hopefully, more fighters to keep charging in. There we go.
Alexander Yakovlev.
Alexander Yakovlev. His opponent, Joelle Alvarez, did not successfully weigh in earlier, so we'll see if Yakovlev makes it and what he decides to do about this fight, should he make it.
Scale's moving.
Flexing before the weigh-in.
155.5, the official weight for Alexander Yakovlev.
Well, he successfully made, so we assume usually most of these guys want to fight. He'll probably get at least 30%. But Mike, do you think there was some gamesmanship in Joelle Alvarez? Are you willing to speculate that there's maybe some gamesmanship with Joelle Alvarez coming in so early and missing by so much?
I don't know if it's gamesmanship or just I'm done. Like, I don't need to cut any more weight. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to kill myself to get down and cut 3.5 extra pounds. So.
The UFC Women's Flyweight Division and making her debut here tomorrow live on pay-per-view with Lilia Shakirova.
The star.
First female fighter from Uzbekistan. 100%, man. She told, if you haven't watched it, she told a story of her amateur wrestling days, and the opposing team was like, because she was so good, was just like, like just poking her a lot, like just trying to get under her skin. And then it just turned into an all-out brawl. She said it was like her versus like 300. She's like, that's what happens when you're good.
126, the official weight for Lilia Shakirova.
126.
126.
And this fight is still on the main card, even though Calvillo is no longer a part of the fight.
That is correct. And Shakirova taking this fight, yes, replacing Calvillo on less than 10 days' notice. So good for her. Good for her for doing that and making the weight. All right. Let's see. We've got
if she wins, what a monumental upset. She would be like
that would
an
be
instant
huge.
top fiver. I mean, that's
Yep.
That's what I asked her. I'm like, are you aware? Like, if you win, you're just gonna be thrust into the top 5 immediately. She's like, why else would I be here? I was like, that's a good answer.
It's great.
And then she slaps you.
Lauren currently ranked number 5, Lauren Murphy, and on a 3-fight win streak. So, yeah, a lot on the line for her taking this fight. Think about, Mike, last week we were talking about, not actually last week, at least a couple of weeks ago or whenever the matchup was made, that Murphy or Calvillo was probably a number 1 contenders fight. Now we have Jessica Andrade jumping the line. And if Shakirova beats Lauren Murphy, then suddenly we're talking about Andrade and Shakirova as like potential title contenders. Like this just shows you how quickly things can change, right?
Yeah, I mean the whole one of the fights I've been looking forward to the most was Murphy versus Calvillo, and you know and what's interesting about this is like Lauren could have easily just said, you know what, I'm gonna wait a month, a few weeks, and then we can rebook Cynthia and go for it, because I mean she's right there. She's like arguably a win away. Like if she went out there and had an impressive performance, put away Cynthia Calvillo, she's probably getting the next title shot against the winner of Shevchenko and Maia. But then Jessica Andrade had that performance, and now it's just like you're going into this completely unknown fight. And Lauren knows enough about Shakirova to know that she's got her hands full here. Like she can only prepare so much, but she knows she's got her hands full. So it's a tough fight to fly across the world and take on an unknown fighter, an unranked fighter, a newcomer when you're arguably a win away from fighting for the title. I mean, good on her. That's gusto. That's gusto, gentlemen.
And hold on, Casey, can we toss the weights up there quick for a second? Let's see some comments saying. Okay.
There you go. People can see.
I'm just personally looking to see how much we have left.
Oh, okay.
Do we have time for a rundown? Do you think, Jose? Do you see one?
I don't see anyone.
Yep. All right, Mike, if you want to let people know where we're at.
Oh, and by the way, my good friend John Hyung Ko sent me a DM on Twitter and said that Izzy, the backup Izzy, is a teammate and a training partner of one Robert Whitaker, which is why he is on the island. So there you go.
Well, there we go.
So I'll just thank you for all these fine folks staying up late and just feeding me all this information to
John
make me look
Hyun-ko
smart.
of the Body Lock MMA, I believe, right? One of the sites he works
South
for?
China Morning Post.
Is he the one that runs the Kumite trivia show that I'm undefeated in?
Yes, in the host of the Kumite trivia show, which I haven't seen since you basically went in there and retired the whole show, Jose, because of your vast knowledge. So here are the weights. We got Khabib Nurmagomedov.
We got Lauren Murphy.
You missed your opportunity, Mr. Heck.
You had to shout out our boy John Hyun-ko.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like being a journalist.
Khabib and Gaethje 155 each. That's the one everyone. This ticket's out.
The UFC flyweight division, Liana Joelle.
Oh, not Lauren Murphy.
Oh.
I just saw a female. But
all females look alike? Come on, man.
Is it at least the same weight? It's at least the same.
Oh,
you know what? It's the same weight class. Jose, you've been awake for I think 3 weeks at the very least, so I think you can be forgiven for.
And I watched Frank Mir's daughter fight this morning, so I'm a little tired.
Yeah, I think you might not be in peak human condition right now. Liana Joelle coming off her first UFC win.
What the heck?
126, the official weight for Liana Joelle.
Did she even hit the scale?
Is this the slammer? Is this the guy doing the weights? Is he the slammer?
She basically had it set to the weight. She has like half a second on.
This guy is
Yeah, I don't
pro.
understand. Like those things.
I don't know if it's the same guy.
They take a couple of seconds to level out, but she's just like, whatever.
This guy's a pro.
We're in a pandemic. Yeah.
He sees fighters coming up to the scale, and he's just eyeballing it. He's like one of those guys, the carnival, the guess your weight, guess your weight in 3 tries, and can't you get it stuff down?
Co-main event live on pay-per-view, the Killer Gorilla second-ranked middleweight contender, Jared Kennedy.
All right, we can
hold your crystals up. Hold your crystals up.
Tiger's eye. Whoop, whoop.
Keep your crystals in your crystal pouches, wherever you weirdos keep your crystals.
Don't judge me. Don't crystal shame
Jessica,
me.
I know you're watching right now. Feel free to chime in with a comment about Mr. Lee and his comments about the crystals, which I believe
we got a nice zoom in. Look at this camera work. Great job.
I mean, this is
great job.
This is professional videography right now by Jose Youngs.
The crystals.
Just got to make sure the crystals are in the right hands. That's why. I mean, everything's.
We're wrong. Hand them off to Rob Emerson.
Yep.
It's a very odd way to take your shorts off.
Very methodical. Very methodical.
Make sure to tell him that.
Don't tell him how to take his shorts off, right? He's a pro UFC fighter. Don't tell him how to take his shirt off either.
Maybe.
The kid, right? He puts his crystals down, everything goes to hell.
Oh, man.
Oh, whip the pick. Whip the pick.
185, the official weight for
championship weight. 185 championship weight. That's a statement. That is called making a statement.
Is
that what it's called?
Just shakes his head.
As they say in the business, Jose, that's called making a statement.
Oh, okay.
So that is I believe that's the 4th fighter on the card to make championship weight. We have the headliners, Jared Cannonier and Tai Tuivasa, all making championship weight.
He made championship weight with his hair pick.
Yes.
That is a statement, Mr. A.K. Lee.
It's a huge statement. He made it easy. Okay. Do we? No, we might have time now.
Wait, hold on. I gotta see if he's getting his crystals back. Nothing's. The world is in balance till he gets his crystals back.
I just want to remind everyone that MMA fighting.
Off the tripod and follow Mr. Cannonier, please.
MMA fighting and Vox Media.
I was trying to get these videos to our lovely YouTubers that can't tune in.
Not officially endorse crystals. The opinions of crystals stated by the likes of Jose Youngs and Casey Leiden are not reflective of the policies of MMA fighting or Vox Media. I'm legally obligated to say this because I don't want anyone getting a crystal in their eye or something, and then we get sued for it. So
that's good luck.
I think we have time for a rundown now.
Yes.
Maybe?
Yes, we do.
Go for it, Mike.
Wait, I need some rundown.
All right.
I got some rundown music. Hold on.
We actually have rundown music?
We don't have time for the music. I'll be honest with you. I think we need to do it now.
All right. We'll just read. Jeez.
Okay. All right. Well, the main event is official for the undisputed lightweight championship. Khabib Nurmagomedov and Justin Gaethje both in at 155 pounds. The co-main event is official as well. Robert Whittaker, the former middleweight champion, weighed in at 186. Jared Cannonier, championship weight, 185 pounds. Still waiting on Alexander Volkov and Walt Harris. Phil Haas and Jacob Malkoun, 186 pounds apiece. Still waiting on Lauren Murphy. She will take on Lilia Shakarova, who weighed in 126 pounds. Magomed Ankalaev, 205.5 pounds. He will face Ion Kutelaba, who is not weighed in yet.
John.
All right, moving on now to the UFC's welterweight division as we welcome Alex Cowboy Oliveira,
who just had his 10th kid.
Wow.
His 10th kid?
Yeah.
I don't even know that many people.
You know that many kids.
Yeah.
Of course, he spoke with our own Guilherme Cruz, and he wants the Khamzat Chimaev fight after this one. He really wants it.
That I suggested after Fight Island, if anyone. So I'm calling that one if that fight happens.
You and Jed Meshew both are big advocates of Chimaev versus Oliveira.
Don't put me in the same category as Jed Meshew.
173, the official weight for Alex Cowboy Oliveira.
Oh no.
173. Does he know he's overweight? He seemed okay.
173.
If you put his weigh-in and Khabib side by side and took out all the vocals in the background, you would have, if nobody knew what they actually weighed, you'd have to take a guess on like who missed weight and who didn't. You would think by far Khabib missed weight, but
100%.
he didn't. And Oliveira was like 168.5 the way he reacted.
That was 173, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
2 pounds over. 2 pounds over. 2 pounds over the limit, including the 1 pound allowance. He did take the fight on 17 days notice for Elizu Zaleski, but just again, not making excuses, just letting people know could have been a factor. But he's missed weight before at lightweight. I believe this is his first miss at welterweight. So, oh no, this is the first time in a while we've had the two marks of shame. Mike, why don't you continue the rundown?
You're giving Alvarez a half pound of wiggle room here. He was 159.5.
Oh, was he? Oh my goodness.
I mean, that could be the difference between 20, 25, and 30%.
I was being nice. Yeah. But you know what, Mr. Heck? But you're Mr. Rules.
I'm up at 1:37 in the morning. We're gonna be right down the middle, baby.
Right, Mike, you've already run down. But yeah, go ahead. You don't have to start from the top again. Let's continue where you left off there.
We got to Ankalaev, 205.5. Kutalaba still yet to weigh in. Stefan Struve yet to weigh in, taking on championship weight Tai Tuivasa, weighted at 265 pounds on the dot. 140 pound catch weight bout between Casey Kenny and Nathaniel Wood. Halfway done. Casey Kenny weighed in at 140. Nathaniel Wood still up to weigh in. Alex Oliveira just missed weight, 173 pounds, taking on Shavkat Rahmanov, who weighed in at 171. Daeun Jung, 206, taking on Sam Alvey, also weighed in at 206. Liana Jojua. What did she? Whoa, she was 120.
Yeah, you're right.
125.5.
I didn't put her weight in.
Yes, she was. She made weight, and she's gonna fight Miranda Maverick, who also made weight. And then in the opening bout, Joelle Alvarez, 159.5. He missed weight by 3.5 pounds. He is scheduled to take on Alexander Yakovlev, 6-year UFC vet, who weighed in at 155.5. So still waiting to see if these fights will move forward. I assume they will.
They usually do.
That's where we're at right now. So we're still waiting on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 to go. And 3 of them it's.
I need to correct myself from earlier. I apologize because I'm reminding myself. I said that Saeed Nurmagomedov had been removed from this card. Saeed Nurmagomedov fought last week. It was Umar Nurmagomedov. Yes, Khabib's cousin. Saeed, not directly related to Khabib. Umar is Khabib's cousin, and Umar had a staph infection, I believe, or a flu that was a result of a staph infection. So he is out, which led to one of 3 alternates that we have weighed in today. Umar Nurmagomedov was supposed to fight Sergey Morizov. So Morizov was left without a fight, so he decided to weigh in as a potential replacement for a catchweight bout between Casey Kenny and Nathaniel Wood. We had, of course, Michael Chandler. This was well-known, well-documented. He's been making all the media rounds. Michael Chandler, former Bellator champion, successfully made 155 for the lightweight championship main event. And then we had international man of mystery. Someone help me again. Izzy, son of a, why did I close this tab I had open with this man's name? I hope this guy ends up fighting and gets like a highlight reel knockout and shuts us up. I really do.
Izzy Fatikafu.
Thank you, Mike. Yes, Australia's Izzy, who's here as part of Robert Whitaker's team. And apparently, because the Magomed Ankalaev Jan Kutalaba fight is one of the most cursed fights in MMA history, he has weighed in as an alternate. And Mike, you said there actually was we actually do know why. What's going on with the Ankalaev Kutalaba fight again?
So I've been told from a source who's on the island right now that he is a backup. Someone from Kutalaba's corner tested positive for COVID. So this is a potential backup in case something goes wrong. So for those listening to my voice, don't go on Twitter and say the fight's off because it's not off. But this is a just in case. Okay, just in case something happens. Mr. Fatikafu is ready to go and step in if needed. So as of now, no change to the fight. That's where we're at right now.
Fu, a 6-0 as a pro, hasn't fought since last year, but competed for Eternal MMA 48, which is a pretty decent promotion in based out of Australia, I believe. So,
Eternal MMA champ.
Yes,
He's the champion over there.
you're kidding me.
Yeah,
How have I not heard of this guy before?
Yeah.
So good on him for stepping up and maybe getting his UFC opportunity, because this Kutalaba and Goliath fight has been they fought and had the controversial finish in February, and then it was scheduled for UFC 249 April 18th. That date was changed because of the coronavirus pandemic, and then rescheduled for August 15th and August 29th. Both times Kutalaba tested positive for COVID-19, so hopefully he does not test positive again. But if he does, then we have a replacement. But boy, how wacky would that be?
So Kutalaba has caught coronavirus twice?
It's either he caught, again, we know so little about the exact. Or perhaps it never quite got out of his system, right? And maybe some of the tests he took in between maybe didn't detect it for whatever reason. And then on fight day, literally this is on August 29th, on fight day of that, I believe this is UFC Vegas 8. He that day the fight was canceled again, for the rematch was canceled for a third time. So I honestly don't. I applaud the matchmakers for putting their heads down and trying to make this one happen. If it doesn't happen again, I think we're all ready to move on. Is that fair to say?
No. No.
Truck.
That's why we are here?
Truck.
AK, watch your mouth.
I would like to share a fun anecdote that
Please, Jose.
Oh, we
Please.
love fun.
Well, it might not be. It's more interesting.
Well, we love anecdotes.
Went downstairs to work because the Wi-Fi at the bar/restaurant in the hotel is much faster than the room, so I do a lot of work down there. And we were doing some work yesterday, and one of the waiters was talking to us, and he's like, normally they just come in, they say hi, like, hello, Mr. Jose, this and that. But for this particular week, all of them are talking about the Khabib fight. Khabib's obviously a very big deal in this part of the world. And we were talking like, oh, you're going to be able to watch. And apparently over here, normally you can just watch the fights. Like, there's no pay-per-view. You don't have to pay for the pay-per-view. For this fight, you do. So they might not be able to watch it, the people that are stuck working.
All right, next up, in the UFC Women's Flyweight division, she is excited to be making her pay-per-view debut tomorrow. The number 5 ranked contender, Lucky Lauren Murphy.
So that is Lauren Murphy.
Yes, this is now Lauren Murphy.
Yes.
Former A-side co-host, Lauren Murphy.
I believe our last of our flyweights to weigh in today.
Former Invicta bantamweight champion.
$126, they push away for Lauren Murphy.
Was that 126?
I believe so.
126 for Lauren Murphy.
Was that her UFC debut in Bangor, Maine?
Was that
Scenic.
She fight her debut?
I
Yes.
think it was the Sarah McMahon fight.
Is that what? Yeah, I think she got the big fat hose. There are a few fights she got the big fat hose job from the judges. McMahon and Carmouche. I thought she got hosed on both of those.
McMahon, I think, is less egregious.
Oh yeah, the Carmouche one was like, that's a robbery. McMahon is, I wouldn't say it's like a flat out robbery, but
I also think Carmouche beat Misha on that. I think it was Orlando card, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah.
All right, next up in the UFC's heavyweight division, the number 7 ranked contender, Drago Alexander Volkov.
Alexander Volkov, top 10 heavyweight contender, and I keep forgetting, former Bellator champion.
That's right.
Don't forget it. We got 2 Bellator champions weighing in. Former World Series.
Yeah.
And Phil
I wonder if
Haas,
that's the
who's
first time.
undefeated in Bellator.
Former Invicta champ weighing in.
$265, the official weight for Alexander
Whoa.
Volkov.
Yes.
Love heavyweights making championship weight. This is beautiful.
265. Goodness me. These heavyweights using every pound.
Struve could very well do 265 too.
I think he has to.
I'll
Right?
be disappointed if he doesn't.
I have to imagine he's never weighed lower than like 263. I think he's hit 265 every time, but I'd have to look that up.
So this is great. We only have three fighters left to hit this. Oh, am I counting on four?
We have four.
Two heavyweights.
Two heavyweights.
Yes. Could be a while.
A light heavyweight and a catchweight.
Jan Kutalava, who we're hoping is still weighing in, and Nathaniel Wood for the catchweight.
Now, is the fight at 140 because of Casey Kinney, or is it because of Wood? Why? Who was the original booking for this fight?
None.
They just made it up. They just decided to okay, cool.
Yeah. Casey wanted another fight.
Yeah, Kenny wanted that quick turnaround, and like it got reported that the fight was done, and then we started reaching out, and it turned out that it wasn't even offered to Nathaniel Wood. But when I talked to Casey Kenny about it on What the Heck, he said that before he left the island, he got offered the fight. And it was just about, they reached out to Wood's team. Wood's team's like, I can't make 135 on like 13 days notice. It's just not going to happen. So they agreed on 140, and here we are. We get just a great fight. That one could steal the show.
Yeah, and again, it's two guys who have a big future at 135, but I'm glad they took it at a catchweight. I think we say all the time, like, we wish, especially this year, there just haven't been enough catchweight fights. Like, more people should either be taking catchweight fights or doing the Brian Kelleher and saying, me and my other bantamweights, we're just gonna do 145 fights. Is that okay? Like, why does we're bantamweights? It's just not, doesn't make sense for us to cut the extra 10 pounds. It's really, during these times, we both agree to it. I wish more fighters had agreed to this. So I don't know, hopefully before the end of the year we still see more people pick this up. But I mean, when you have Dana White saying stuff like, Poirier and McGregor has to be at, what do you say, it has to be at 155? It literally will make no sense.
It literally will make no sense.
I don't want to go on a rant here. Go ahead, guys. You guys,
sure you do.
I'm about to go on
a rant.
Okay, you want
you need some rant music?
Listen, people.
Sure, I have rant music.
If you want to throw some rant music at any point, go ahead. But I'll say this. For one thing, I'm someone who's in favor of more weight classes. I know a lot of people don't like that, but I don't care. I don't care if there was 30 weight classes. I want anything that makes it easier for fights to be arranged. Okay. Anyone who is digging their heels into the ground about like, oh no, we have to preserve the sanctity of 155, the legacy of 155 or 170 or guys, these are arbitrary weight distinctions that are also very far apart. Do you realize that if we didn't have these, thank you. Do you realize that if we didn't have these distinctions, that like it would be so much easier to arrange a lot of these fights that people are always wondering about, as opposed to having to think like, oh, but if this guy goes up here, he's giving up 20 extra pounds. Like, okay, what if there's a weight class in between? Like, look at boxing. Boxing has had so many super fights happen because it's more incremental, guys. It's more incremental between the weight classes, okay? And I know people don't like, when there's just too many belts in boxing, and that's a whole other issue. But it doesn't matter. Belts are props. Weights are obviously meant to keep people in the general competitive vicinity, but at the same time, it's like, and that's why we need more. If we had more, we could be making these better fights happen. Okay, belts and weights are getting in the way of us having the fights that we want. So people, please do not listen to Dana White when he says stuff like, "Oh, it has to happen at 155, otherwise it doesn't." It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
And if they book that fight at 170 and one guy goes out there and like impressively starches the other guy and puts him away in the first, second round, he's gonna say, well, if it was at 55, I would have given him the fight with Khabib, right? But nope, it was at 70, so forget that. He's gonna box Floyd Mayweather instead.
I'm gonna get some of the Floyd Mayweather fight. So
Khabib versus Floyd.
So we've mentioned Hazmat.
Yes, they got the Hazmat mention earlier.
That happens to us all.
He mentioned Hamzat earlier, and I think I saw the viewership spike by like 5,000 viewers. Like he just said it, and I think
we've mentioned Conor. We got a Mayweather reference.
Ryan Hall. I just did.
Ryan Hall.
There we go.
Let's talk about Bob Arum.
Oh man.
Thank you for everyone who, by the way, who's still tuned in, and anyone just tuning in. This is the 254. These are the official weigh-ins, people. This is live for those of us in North America. Jose, what time is it? Local time?
9:50.
9:50 in the morning. Right?
Yes. In the morning.
So it's the lovely 9:50 in the morning in sunny Abu Dhabi. For those of us here, again, North America, it is either almost 2 in the morning or 11 or almost 11 where you are, Casey?
10 till, yes.
Yes. So thank you, everyone who's, regardless, I don't care, wherever you're watching from, thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We have Mike Heck here, Jose Young's on site, and of course, Casey Lyden on the truck, and myself, Alexander K. Lee. I screwed up my own name. I got all you guys. I screwed up.
You guys have Candy Lee?
I said Candy Lee. Candy Lee. I mean, that is one of my nicknames. So it was like a Freudian slip. It wasn't just like a verbal error. Like it wasn't one of my secret nicknames, which I did want to share with you guys. But I am known as Candy Lee in some areas. So you guys, this is after dark. Areas. This is after dark stuff. All right. This is guys just for us and the 5,000 maniacs tuning into a weigh-in stream at 1 in the morning where I am. But again, I know we've got a lot of international viewers, so thank you everyone for joining us. Mike, I think we got to give them another rundown. I have a feeling it's going to be a bit before we see our next person weighing in.
Yes, before we do that, our own Damon Martin sent me a message on Slack and said, it put in our private channel and said, never use the word steal the show on any card where Justin Gaethje is performing. And I will agree with that, but I'm still standing by what I said, ladies and gentlemen. But Khabib Nurmagomedov is fighting the aforementioned Justin Gaethje for the undisputed 155-pound title. Both men weighed in at 155 on the dot. That fight is official. Robert Whittaker taking on Jared Cannonier in the co-main event. Whittaker in at 186, Cannonier championship weight at 185. Alexander Volkov also weighed in at championship weight at heavyweight, 265 on the nose. We are still awaiting the arrival of one Walt Harris. Phil Haas, Jacob Malkoun, 186 apiece. Lauren Murphy and Lilia Shakarova both weighed in at 126. That fight is official. Magomed Ankalaev weighed in at 205.5. Still waiting on Ion Kutalaba. Stefan Struve yet to weigh in. He will take on Tai Tuivasa, weighed in at 265 on the nose. Casey Kenny in at 140 pounds. He will fight Nathaniel Wood, who has yet to step on the scale. Alex Cowboy Oliveira weighed in at 173. He misses the mark. Shavkat Rahmanov weighed in at 171. Daewon Jung at 206, taking on Sam Alvey, also at 206. Liana Jojua, 126, taking on Miranda Maverick, also weighed in at 126. And then the curtain jerker of the card, Joelle Alvarez, weighed in at 159.5. Not sure what his fine will be and if the fight will move forward, but I'm feeling good about it. He'll take on the veteran Alexander Yakovlev, who weighed in at 155.5.
So we've had a little bit of drama early on. Hopefully, again, nothing that doesn't result in any fights being canceled.
Wait.
Apparently, like to clarify,
Mr. Heck didn't mention the half dozen or so other gentlemen that weighed in.
Yes, Mike, the ultimates, please.
We'll post them up and I'll read them.
I had no idea how to spell them, so I just let that one slide.
So Sergey Morizov weighed in at what, 138 and a half?
We got some movement.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you're off the hook.
I think it's Walt Harris. Yeah.
God, thank you, Walt Harris.
Our next fighter to the scale, the number 10 ranked heavyweight in the world. He is the big ticket, Walt Harris. $254, the official weight for the big ticket.
Well, Harrison, you know what? All these heavyweights making championship weight? I'm going to do it 11 pounds lighter.
Making a statement.
That's your move.
Statement move right there.
3 more left to win. I apparently have to clarify my little rant earlier about class. I think someone said.
What about Candy? What are you gonna say, Candy? What's going on, Candy Lee?
Yes, Casey, that's right. Candy Lee is speaking. I'm very sensitive. I got when it comes to reading comments. I probably shouldn't read them. I saw literally one comment passing by. It's very well written though, saying that I think abolishing weight classes is silly. I'm not saying. I didn't say abolish weight classes. I said add more weight classes.
That's
I'm not saying
you said the opposite. You said the opposite of abolish weight classes.
I'm not saying go full open. No, I agree. I would love to see open weight fights as well. www.fightcircus.com. By the way, shout outs Full Metal Dojo and Camp Soda Legends for making that magic happen recently. And I think they have another events coming up. So I was not saying abolish weight classes, but if you're into that sort of thing, I'm just saying look out for the next Full Metal Dojo event. We could see some. Honestly, I can't even predict what these guys are going to do next. So, but we have an actual UFC event this Saturday.
Ooh, tell me more.
Plenty of fights. I don't know if you've heard. Khabib Nurmagomedov and Justin Gaethje, but we've talked about the fight quite a bit. I think, Mike, what fight was it saying you thought could steal the show? You said Nathaniel Wood, Casey Kenny.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we all know that the main event is the main event, and a fight is a fight, as AK Lee said on the last weigh-in show. It's a fight. But, I mean, that fight's ridiculous. It's so intriguing. I can't wait to see what happens. There's so many questions on both sides. But if we're talking about, like, a sneaky, under-the-radar fight, it's got to be Kenny versus Wood. I mean, that's just such a good fight. Like, I wish it was on the main card. It's not, but it's a great prelim fight. It's a great wet-your-whistle fight. So you spend that $65 to buy this card if you need to. I don't know what else you need to be sold on, but if that fight's one of them that'll get you over the edge, then there you go.
And by the way, Mike, your usage of steal the show is actually accurate because they would be stealing the show from Gaethje, who is the presumed star, and Nurmagomedov, who are the presumed stars of the show. So yes, they would be stealing the show if they had the fight of the night and surprise people instead of course, Justin Gaethje or Nurmagomedov. So I have to defend my fellow on to the next one co-host because he does not misspeak. He does not misspeak.
I have no issue suggesting that Wood and Kenny will be the fight of the night because as great as Khabib is, has he ever actually been in a fight of the night?
I think I want to say the McGregor fight had to have won it, right? But
really? So after all that, they gave him an extra $50K after he jumped the cage and that brawl. Dana was all like, "That was the most disgusting thing." You know what? Give him an extra $50K.
That's a fair point. I do not think he.
Did you forget about that part? You forgot about that?
I think that may have. It's such a blur now. I think that may have cost him a submission of the night as well. Unfortunately, you're correct. He does not have any fight of the night awards.
Which I think it's pretty dang interesting. That for as great as Khabib is, he's not. And this is why he's great. He hasn't actually been in back and forth wars, which is kind of what you need for a fight of the night. And I think it's just extremely interesting.
Or like a never before seen kind of like domination, like Anderson Silva and Forrest Griffin. I'll never forget when that got fight of the night. I'm like, that's the easiest. Well, not just the easiest. He got punched in the face a lot. But
Forrest got 50 extra fight of the night bonus for that.
That was Anderson Silva got performance of the night and they got fight of the night. And if I remember, I think I don't remember the card exactly. I'm sure Jose will remember, but I believe there actually was probably like one or two other good fights in that card that probably should have got it instead. But I think Anderson Silva's performance was so entertaining and Forrest Griffin obliged so well by running into his fists that they were like, you know what, they both deserve a little extra cash. I'm not going to argue it, but that's one of the weirder non-competitive fight of the nights that I've seen.
Yeah.
But yes, no. Fight nice Khabib. So are we all assuming? Is anyone suggesting that Gaethje can win a decision?
I would. It's on the table. It's on the table.
Yeah.
Please elaborate. Anyone?
I mean, if he can just, if he can beat up Khabib and we just really test Khabib's toughness and what you think Khabib's just gonna get knocked out? You're just gonna roll over? You know?
I don't know. You know what people say. Michael he got rocked by Michael Johnson. It's one of the biggest myths. I was rewatching that fight again, man. I think it had to have been Joe Rogan on the call or something. He's going like, "Oh, he's really hurt." It was like he really wasn't that hurt.
What's more likely, a Gaethje decision victory or a Gaethje submission victory?
I thought you were gonna say a Khabib knockout.
A Khabib standing knockout might be crazy, but Khabib getting a TKO on the ground, I think is easily.
Sure.
But I would say a Gaethje decision would be more likely as far as a path to victory than a Gaethje submission.
Yeah.
So watch your mouth, Candy Lee.
I mean, honestly, if this fight goes the distance, I'll be super surprised. Super surprised. I think like one of the most enticing betting lines like on this card, and I want to say like the over under is like 4.5 rounds or something, and it's like -170 that it goes under 4.5 rounds. Like I think that's like a great value. Like I don't think this fight goes 5 rounds. I think someone's getting a finish.
Here's a question for you guys. Mike or Truck, feel free to chime in. Why is this a 6-fight main card?
You're asking the wrong question, AK. The question is why not? Why not? Listen, it's a 2 p.m. start time. Who cares? Who cares if it's a 6-fight main
I
card?
care. Because I had to write predictions for all the main card fights. That's why I care.
It's the Phil Haas fight.
We got movement. We got movement.
All right, we'll stay in the heavyweight division. Next fighter to the scale, the skyscraper, Stefan Struve.
The veteran, Stefan Struve, making his 24th UFC appearance. 24, guys. I mean, he did debut in the UFC when he was like 20 years old, but that's a lot of UFC appearances.
You're going to zoom out. You're going to pan the camera way up.
Get a little bit of a... I don't think it's possible to zoom out.
265, the official weight for Stefan Struve.
Championship weight.
Oh, jeez. Champs 265 for Stefan Struve. He is third, so 24th UFC appearance, third most behind. I'll let you guys guess. Who do you think he is trailing in the all-time UFC heavyweight appearances list?
Arlovsky?
Correct.
Okay. Cool. All right, moving on.
No. He's third. He's third. There's another name. No longer employed by the UFC.
Wait, more.
Don't look at the comments.
I suck at trivia. Like I suck at this kind of thing. I'm gonna say Frank Mir, but I could be wrong.
You are correct.
Yeah. Championship weight, baby.
Championship Mike. Frank Mir, 27 UFC appearances. Andrei Arlovsky, 32 and counting. Andrei Arlovsky is not going anywhere. He also has Stefan Struve, tied for the fourth most wins with 13. So Stefan Struve got all kinds of records again. Started with UFC at a very young age. One of the most tantalizing and I would say frustrating prospects.
Well, I think it's really interesting about my favorite part about Stefan Struve is where he got the nickname Skyscraper, because before he started fighting, he studied architecture and he loved tall buildings. He was like wanted So people so they named after his favorite, his college.
And that's the only reason,
as far as I can tell.
Yeah, that would be my my assumption as well. Even if you had not told me that story, and someone said his nickname was Skyscraper, the first thing I would have asked is it because he loves architecture?
Yeah, the man loves architecture.
Sure.
Is that what you're going to say, AK? Were you going to say something else?
Oh, well, I was going to say I heard he's also a huge fan of the Dwayne Johnson film Skyscraper as well.
Ooh, yeah.
Nice.
I hear you got
Dwayne Johnson, Nev Campbell action vehicle.
If you watch this pre-fight scrum, that's what he says. People asking, what are you doing in your quarantine? He said he brought the Blu-ray of Skyscraper.
He did, which I'm like, he's really committed to this gimmick, but I respect it.
Yeah, they asked Stefan about Tai Tuivasa going to AKA and training with Daniel Cormier, and Struve said, "I'm not Daniel Cormier. I'm just a tiny bit taller than him."
That would have been a fun fight to see.
Daniel Cormier versus Stefan Struve.
Do you remember when he fought? Was it Stonich?
Pat Barry.
Pat Barry is one of them. Yeah, I think he also fought. Didn't he also fight Dennis Stonich? Am I crazy? Maybe he didn't. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's Pat Barry. Oh no, he fought them both. So twice he's fought guys who he's like literally a foot taller. Well, Stonich is even. I think Stonich is like 5'10". He's like one of the shortest heavyweights I've ever seen. But yeah, that's right. That and the Pat Barry fight, it was like wow. Even Mark Hunt as well. Mark Hunt, right?
Yeah.
Pat Barry. Remember, Pat Barry actually got on the scale to do his face-off. He stood on the elevated scale to do the face-off.
That really made up for it. Oh, Stefan Struve. Only 32 years old, but again, has been fighting in the UFC since he was like 21.
We got movement, I think. Yeah, the official is back on the stage. Normally that means some slamming of the scales coming up.
Who we got? Wood or Kutalaba, right? Is that all we have left?
Scales.
That's it, unless there's like another 14 backups that we don't know about.
Oh, don't rule it out, my friend. Do not rule it out.
If you have visible abs, you're weighing in.
That's not even a necessity. All right, we're still waiting. See who's going to pop up. Looks like we could get one of our last two people to weigh in here. Thank you, Mike, by the way, for bringing us some real news about Stefan Struve and real comments while Casey and I were having our jokes and jibes as we have fun around here. As
All right,
Jose
next
always
up,
likes to say, we like
at a catch weight of 140 pounds, Nathaniel Wood.
Okay.
The prospect.
Nathaniel Wood again. This is a catch weight bout with Casey Kenny. It is about a bantamweight contenders, but give themselves 5 extra pounds to work with.
140, the official weight for Nathaniel Wood.
And there you go, 140.
I think one of my favorite moments of the week thus far was so Casey Kenny did his media day, and then Nathaniel Wood did his media day, and then like an hour and a half later, I talked to Casey Kenny, and Nathaniel Wood said at his media day, you know, Casey Kenny's style plays right into my hands. I think within 2 minutes of the fight starting, he's going to be shooting for takedowns. And I told Casey that, and I said, how do you react to that? And Casey took like 5 seconds to ponder it, and then he just burst out laughing. And I was just like blown away by that. I don't know why. It was just hilarious. He just like, his reaction was just all out and out laughter.
Hey guys, can you hear me? Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Jose is back.
Sorry about that. My Bluetooth headphones died.
How's it?
Raptors MMA came and saved the day and let me borrow a pair.
Well, Jose, you were missed, though I'm a little bit glad that you were absent because I was asking a bunch of trivia questions, which I know you would have gotten in like 10 seconds. So
Checks out.
yes, it made it a little bit more interesting, the competition. I'm sure I was not looking at the comments. Anyone who got the correct answer in the comments, congratulations. I'm sure people were shouting out some of the answers to those questions. So
Again, we're saying, duh, of course Stefan Struve loves architecture. Getting a lot of those comments.
So we have a little over an hour left. We are waiting for Jan Kutalaba, though there is some consternation there.
What did you call him?
Jan? I said Jan.
Ewan.
Ewan.
Someday.
Ewan. I'm going to go with Ewan.
Come on, Candy.
Otherwise, I'm going to keep calling him Jan. Ewan Kutalaba, last guy we're waiting for, light heavyweight, for his bizarre fight with Magomed Ankalaev. Do we have any comments? We still have a lot of viewers, so I don't know if you'll be able to grab any comments out. They're flying in pretty fast.
You want to hit the comments? Apparently,
you can again because we're not gonna have a lot of time after this. Once Kutalaba shows up, so.
Apparently we have a lot of 28-1, a lot of 29-0. You know, about 6 billion variations of that right now.
Yeah, a lot of that. Yeah. I don't know if.
I'm waiting for the Leon Edwards questions. I'm surprised. Someone please respond.
Are you okay, Sean? Is that all you right?
Hi, Sean.
How you doing, Sean?
Hello. Request.
He said please.
Mike, if you want to talk about Leon Edwards, talk to us about some Leon Edwards, please.
I mean, this is like the Leon Edwards, the biggest story of the day. No longer in the UFC welterweight rankings. Kind of surprising.
What does that mean? I'm not even sure what that means.
I don't either.
I don't know. I saw everyone like, oh, I was like, what? I don't know what it means. Like, okay, is he?
I'm so confused by all of it. Like, I really am. Like, what gets you removed from the rankings these days? Like, Brian Ortega was still in the rankings and he was out for like 2 years, but Leon Edwards hasn't fought in over a year and he's out of the rankings. Like, I don't understand. Like, I just don't get it.
To play devil's advocate, I think Brian had accepted fights and just got hurt, and maybe Leon Edwards has turned down a million fights, and the UFC is just pissed. I think that would be the only explanation.
What does it mean?
That is the explanation.
He was booked and accepted and signed to fight Tyron Woodley in March before all this pandemic stuff hit. He did get offered Kamaru Usman, which he confirmed, which he told me when I talked to him, but that was like on 2 weeks' notice, and he had nowhere to train because his entire country was shut down, so he had nowhere to prepare, and to get himself and the rest of his team to Abu Dhabi on that short of notice without a camp was impossible to do. So he couldn't do it, and who knows? Who knows if he was offered some of those fights? Because some people are saying that he was offered the fights and he turned them down. Leon has said that these fighters have turned him down. So nobody knows. Nobody knows, and this is all negotiation. This is clearly just put up or shut up. shit or get off the pot kind of thing. Like, Leon, take a fight, or, they're giving him that nudge. And then what does he do? Calls out Chimaev. So Aaron Bronstetter actually won between the links this week.
No.
I'm just kidding.
The truck
like
made the decision.
I know.
Just like I won between the links when I predicted Mike Perry versus Robbie Lawler.
Is that fight happening still?
As far as I know.
As Dana, I really want to see. I'm really interested how this is a very ugly
how he
subject.
reacts to that. Yeah.
This is well, that's another conversation.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that no one believed you, Jose. It's that, we thought, like, with this whole, we're not giving him a fight until he undergoes whatever he has to undergo. Like, that was where I was coming from. Like, I feel like Perry Lawler is.
I choose to believe you guys just didn't want to believe me, and I had the foresight with my crystals that I knew it was coming, and you just don't believe in science.
Well, yeah, all right. Crystals, yeah, I guess you're right, Jose. I apologize.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Casey, can we flash the weights on the screen? We don't have to read them over necessarily, but I do see people. The usual. Oh, have they weighed in yet?
We're answering some questions. We have some questions. You want to go to some quick questions?
Do you have some questions?
Oh yeah.
These better be good.
Do you think Leon Edwards will ultimately accept the fight versus Khamzat Chimaev? Well, listen, he actually, I mean, if you think about it on Twitter, Leon Edwards is actually the man who laid down the gauntlet. So, I mean, I think at this point, like, if they weren't going to do Neil Magny, like, I don't understand why the trigger wasn't pulled on that fight, because
he raised his hand.
Perfect.
First guy who raises his hand, I'm giving it to him. And Neil Magny's been raising his hand for like 2 weeks, and they didn't book it. So at this point, I would be shocked if this fight doesn't happen on December 19th.
I think Leon Edwards will want this fight to answer the MMA circus, but I think we're going to end. God help us, I think we're going to end up with Khamzat Chimaev versus Chris Weidman. So there you go. That's my answer to that question. I don't want it.
That's January. Double booking time.
Oh.
What has Maia talked? As Damian Maia, has he talked to the media? Is he just radio silent right now? What's going on with Damian Maia contract or fight? Has Dana even acknowledged that fight? Did we just pretend that just never happened or was never talked about?
It was never official. It was never official.
We talked about it when I was at Khamzat's last fight, which is on the Colby Woodleaf card. They asked about it, and Dana was basically like, "We might have to get him another fight."
So who put that out in the universe first? Was that Dana?
Dana White.
Dana.
It was Dana.
Yeah. So Dana said something that wasn't true? What's going on?
Yeah.
Dana had said that the Maia fight was being worked on, and that was before anybody even knew about the Mearshart fight. And then the Mearshart fight got reported like 2 hours later.
Yeah, it was so weird. I think he said something like, we want him to fight we want him to fight in Vegas. Like we have him in Vegas, so we want him to fight in Vegas, but we're also working on Damian Maia and Fight Island. It was like, okay. And it was just such a bizarre thing that they would normally never discuss, not just the publicly, but also that 2 fights for one fighter for various situations.
So I threw this question on Twitter, and I think I got maybe one legitimate response, but like I go, who was the last time you had a top 5 ranked fighter on a winning streak fight a guy that's not even ranked in the top 20, which would be Edwards versus Chimaev? And like, I mean, yeah, you could throw a couple of late notice fights in there.
Notice.
Yeah, not short notice, exactly, obviously, like this is the fight we're making. The only legitimate one I saw was when Jan fought Nikita Krylov. And Jan was in top 5, and I'm not even 100% sure on that one, but they did. But I go, okay, I guess that's one. But
was it?
I want to say like Jimmy Rivera had a fight like that at some point.
Where he was the top 5.
I don't know, I'm just throwing that.
That's what I mean. Like, it's so rare to see a guy, a number 1 contender, fight an completely unranked guy. Yeah, we've had like Chris Weidman versus Dominic Reyes, but these are changing weight classes. No, he was a former champion. There were little things behind that one, but just so number 1 contender.
What was Jan's UFC debut? Jan Blachowicz. I know he kind of got thrown into the deep end right away.
Manoa?
No, it wasn't Manoa. I know Manoa was his first loss in the UFC. I don't know who his first fight in the UFC was. Was it Latifi?
I'm 99% sure it was Latifi.
But he lost his first fight, didn't he? Didn't Jan lose?
Jan won his first. Jan beat. If it is Latifi, I know he won that fight. That was in Stockholm.
Yeah, he finished Latifi in the first round. Then he fought Manua. Then he would lose 4 of his next 5 to Manua, Anderson, Gustafsson, and Patrick Cummins.
Yeah.
And then he's gone on this run ever since.
And then as we all predicted after that Cummins loss,
like,
he would become the UFC light heavyweight champ. Yeah.
He's gonna be the champ.
Patrick Cummins beat the shit out of Jan.
You guys are correct. It is Latifi, a win over Latifi in his first fight. Yeah, and then he hit a bit of a wall there.
But I guess, what does being pulled out of the rankings? What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
It means nothing.
Okay,
it means literally nothing.
Okay, I was honestly so confused. I was like, okay, I've been working in MMA media for over a decade now. I don't know why this is news. I mean, I understand the I don't even know the optics. I don't understand. So next time Leon Edwards fights, he's gonna be unranked. I don't get it.
No, if they would slide him right back in, just like Yair. Remember that Yair was removed briefly. I think Nate Diaz as well. And then as soon as they signed on for a fight, they were just right back in the ring.
He'll be ranked number 3 by in the next. But before we're eating turkey on the actual Thanksgiving, AK. He'll be back in the rankings.
It's a very strange thing to do. It's. I know it was Mike. You mentioned it's like one of the most talked about news stories today, but it's weird. It was so talked about, but also so inconsequential.
Yeah, I'll scramble to get news and confirm things, but this one just felt weird. You know what I mean? I'm reaching out to all these people I'm like, hey, did Leon get removed from the rankings? Are you aware of this? It just felt like a strange question when the rest of the questions were, are you out of this fight? Are you fighting in this fight? It was just a weird question to ask.
This is equivalent to just unfollowing someone on Twitter and then refollowing him the next. I was just like, what am I not understanding here? I was like, we have the greatest light heavyweight matchup in UFC history happening in one day, and we're talking about,
This is like Allen Iverson talking about practice. Yeah. This is this is the equivalent of practice. We're talking about the rankings here. It's Khabib versus Gaethje. We're talking about rankings. We're talking about the UFC rankings. What is happening right now? But I will say I was very happy to see fellow Patriots fan Bilal Muhammad get the top 15 bump. So
it's gonna be a big news story when Leon's back in there. He gets bumped out of the rankings.
Yeah,
he gets bumped right back.
Absolutely. Bilal, I believe, offered to fight. Did he offer to fight Leon on Twitter?
I don't know,
dude. Leon's not even. Why
he's already fighting? He's got to fight.
Why would Baha take that fight? Leon's not even ranked. It makes no sense. It makes no sense to fight Leon Edwards. It makes no sense.
Don't start.
See what I did there, Candy? See what I did?
Do you have another question, or can we show people the weights? What do we got? What's going on?
We can do both. How about that?
Okay.
So take a gander. We're just waiting on one. Iwan Kutalaba.
Do not
requesting more crystal jokes from Candy.
Why are you putting this delinquent's name on our screen? I'm not even going to read out this person's name because it's what they want. I won't give them the attention that they're begging for. Chuck, if we could just move on. Can we just move on? I'm not acknowledging this question. I'm going to talk about the weights on. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm trying to look at the weights. It's very distracting. That's not. No. Okay. Well.
There's a glitch in the system. I apologize.
Yeah, that's okay. Chuck, if we could get that cleared up, please. Yeah. We got thousands of people. Thank you.
They all want to hear your thoughts on crystals, AK, and how it's changing the MMA landscape.
As I've said before, the thoughts and opinions of Jose and Casey Light about crystals do not reflect the opinions of MMA Fighting or Fox Media.
Someone has predicted that Jared Cannonier will win by second round chakra alignment. So,
yeah, this is the level of discourse that we're dealing with here. So, that is great. I hope people saw the weights.
AK is such a squid.
Oh God, is that a crystal culture insult? Oh no,
is that a college joke, sir?
Is that a crystal burn? Does your crystal culture have all these cool insults that I'm not aware of?
No, dude, that's from Rocket Power. Get cultured.
No one knows. No, as usual, Jose. No one knows what you're talking about.
I assure you, AK, there is a large amount of individuals on planet Earth that know what the hit television show Rocket Power is.
I don't care about the people on planet Earth. I care about the people in our comments section right now. I care about our loyal viewers who are having to deal with this nonsense. Oh gosh, and now it's on our screens.
Hit AK with some Rocket Power. He's clearly, I don't know.
I always see a lot of comments calling us like geeks and like soy boys, and it's because of stuff like this. You're references like this that nobody understands.
This isn't soy. This is pure crystal.
That is crystallized soy. Don't lie. That is soy. That is soy crystal form.
This is what soy looks like when it's in the ground. Yeah.
Yeah. That is unfiltered raw soy.
Hey, Casey, is there any way?
That's not legal. You can't even own that.
Casey, is there any way we can toss up a replay of Khabib weighing in? Because since he did weigh in over an hour ago.
Is it in the Assets channel?
It sure is.
All right, I'll take a peek at it.
Yes.
Yeah. So talk amongst yourselves while I queue this up.
While we load this up. Okay, well, we have just under 40 minutes left. Mike, there is some concern, right, about that Jan Cutelaba might not show up, and not necessarily because of weight reasons, right?
I have been told by a source over on the island right now that one of Jan Cutelaba's cornermen tested positive. I don't know when the test happened. I don't know how that affects that fight or Cutelaba in general. As of now, this fight is still a go, but that is a concern, and that's why the other Izzy, the teammate of Robert Whittaker, weighed in earlier. Izzy Fatikafu weighed in at 203.5. So if something happens and Cutelaba cannot make it to the octagon on Saturday, Izzy will get in there and he will fight instead. So still waiting on that. There's some questions, obviously, with the drama with the weigh-ins and the two misses and purses and all that stuff. No information on that as of yet, but some drama here at the weigh-ins at 2:22 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Right. And that'd be another situation where we have a ranked fighter having to jump in there with an unranked guy. Ankalaev currently ranked 13th. So if Fatikafu happens to get that opportunity,
guys.
Could be top 15 by the end of the weekend.
Yes, nice. And the very first man to hit the scales this morning, or today, or this afternoon, or whatnots, was the champ, 28-0, Khabib Nurmagomedov. If you guys haven't read it, I highly suggest you go to MMAfighting.com and check out The Great Divide, where the question was answered by Mr. A.K. Lee and Jed Meshew. Is Khabib Nurmagomedov the greatest fighter of all time? And compelling arguments made for both cases. I don't think either gentleman actually said yes to that question. Jed was like 95% there.
Yes.
He was getting closer, and AK said top 5, but
I said straight up not.
Are we talking about with a victory on Saturday, or
no? Well, mine was it today. If just based going into this fight, is he already the greatest?
Lightweight or just in general?
Of all time, just in general.
I think he's already the greatest lightweight ever.
I agree. Greatest lightweight.
Oh, the greatest lightweight? Yeah. The greatest lightweight, I think, is no question.
But is he the greatest fighter of all time?
You guys saw on the replay there, Khabib not looking like he was having a good time, not being super confident about the weight cut, but making 155.
And I'm pretty sure his last 28 fights, he's never looked happy at this point in the day.
It's miserable. He usually looks happy at the end of fight night, though. I'll tell you, he's usually in a pretty good mood by the end of fight night.
Really? So that fight a couple of times, that he had a fight a couple years ago in Vegas where he climbed out of a cage and he was dragged out of the arena by security. He was happy.
You keep bringing up this. I think I'd remember this incident if it happened. This is like the second time you brought this up, and I'm like, I have a vague memory of what you're talking about.
Just saying.
I would think it was as memorable as you say it is, then I would have remembered it. But
so that's gentlemen. So let's see his opponent weighing in.
The embracer of chaos himself, Justin Gaethje.
The man who wants to create a zone of death in front of himself to combat Khabib Nurmagomedov.
It's just so wild, like the way he thinks and then like takes those thoughts and articulates them into sentences. It's just wild what goes through his mind, just how honest he is with himself. Yeah, he is.
He's oddly
he
poetic
really
at
is
times.
oddly poetic. I expect Khabib Nurmagomedov to smash me like he does to everybody. That fuels me. Thinking about that fuels me. I wish I was having this fight in Russia with 100,000 fans telling me I want to die. Like they want me to die. I would love that. That'd be great. That was the last thing said at the press conference the other day.
You know what I think is interesting about Gaethje? I think he is one of those, actually him and Khabib, but I think they're two fighters that will actually fight better with no audience. I think or at least Gaethje I think Gaethje would fight smarter without a crowd. I think if there was just a roaring crowd supporting him, I think that's when he gets into his WSOF days. I'm just gonna bring the violence with zero strategy.
He was brilliant in that fight with Tony Ferguson. And again, not just in the way we usually expect him. He was controlled. Did not look like he wasted his energy at all during the fight. Looked like he could have gone another 10 rounds, despite the fact that he was landing some absolute bombs in that fight. So you would think, oh man, he can't keep this up for 5 rounds. He was keeping it up and pouring it on in the 5th round, and he got the finish there. So,
did you see?
Yeah.
Did you see the UFC on social media? I want to say it was like maybe Wednesday. They put out they just clipped off like Gaethje hitting Ferguson over and over again, like in silence. They didn't have the commentators in the background.
I absolutely
They just
saw
showed
that.
close-up clips. That was so crazy because I remember like watching that event and just hearing the thuds of all those shots, and I was just like, this is crazy.
And imagine if you were there, because it was bananas.
That clip, those clips was almost, I mean, clearly it doesn't have the same feeling that Jose had being in that arena, but it was pretty damn close. I mean, it was just like, wow. Like, I remember this being like completely violent, but this is like next level.
I freaking love that.
Don't get your stream demonetized. Sorry, someone was playing.
Yeah.
So play music in the background.
Yeah. Oh, it was just that when originally. So after every pay-per-view, the UFC sends the media. They call it a VNR, and it will have the fights with no audio, with no commentary, just the natural sounds. And normally you hear the crowd and everything, but this was the first pay-per-view big fight that we got. I got video package from UFC, and it was just those sounds. And I remember I clipped that out, and we played that on the A side. And I was just talking about, like, this is how you should watch fights. If you really want to understand what MMA is and how incredibly violent and technical and brutal it is, watch these clips. And it's funny, I kind of tweeted about this again. It's like, this is the way to watch MMA. You know, I enjoy Anik. I think Anik's a wonderful commentator, but I just really wish there was an option to release rewatch fights with only the natural sounds. Not because people say, let me mute it so I don't get bias and stuff. But when you mute things, you can't hear things. It doesn't have the same impact. But babe, it was just so awesome. But then a lot of people online was like, this is too much. People can't handle this. You know, like, did you think it was like, was it too real? When people say as real as it gets, was that too real?
I mean, I don't know if it gets too real. I mean, it was.
People were saying like this is
we're
like
bordering.
Yeah, and I freaking love it because I love the fact that it is real. But I get why people like football. I get why people like boxing because you have padded gloves, you have helmets, so you can't. You know it's violent, but you can kind of imagine it not as violent. You can't ignore what you were hearing when you saw Gaethje Ferguson with just audio, live audio.
Watching those clips, it was just like the combination of the thuds, like you could see like the sweat and the blood flying off of Ferguson's face, the breathing, the reaction from the corners. Like, it's just a cool clip. Like, it really is. It's just like, wow. Like, this is wild. That was such a great performance. And just to go back and see it from like a kind of a different angle and through like a different lens since I haven't seen the fight because I watched it like 2 days after UFC 249 because I wanted to watch it again because it was just such a great performance. But just seeing it, going back and like seeing it from those angles and hearing the sounds like that, it's pretty cool.
When back in the day, I shot for Invicta. I did lots of cage side videography and stuff, and Invicta crowds were small. There were maybe about 300-400 people there, but I'm cage side, so I'm like this far away from the action. I'm right on the cage, and sometimes I'm hearing this ground and pound me. I hear these women gurgling just from getting choked out. Like I saw just some brutally violent knockouts right in front of me, and I just kept thinking, man, this is how you have to watch MMA. And I'm just so excited that the UFC put that out there. So because I was like that's it.
As most people know, I abhor violence. The further away I can stay from violence, the better. I'm not a twisted sort like our Casey Leiden is. But again, maybe it is those years of filming Invicta and being so up close to the action that just desensitized him and made him yearn for that extra level of violent intimacy, as it were.
Tell me more, Candy. Tell me, Candy.
There's people who like just tuned in, who haven't been tuned in for the last 4 minutes, who aren't going to get that joke. So I guess there's really not much to say about it, is there? Jose, you're still there, right? Oh, is Jose no longer with us? So I wanted to get Jose. So when he comes back, I'll ask him about it. But when you think about it, so Jose, our own Jose Youngs, has been on site in Abu Dhabi since the beginning of October. Right?
Probably September.
Before that?
I think October.
It's like 5 weeks.
2019, yes.
Oh my goodness. And he's seen or at least been on site for some pretty spectacular things, like the Joaquin Buckley KO. I don't think he was cage side at the time, unfortunately. I'll have to ask him, but if I remember, I don't think he was there. Unfortunately, he was doing, we have responsibilities where it's our job, and but he was cage side for one of the most anticipated fights of his life, the Chan Sung Jung Korean Zombie Brian Ortega fight. So I do want to get his thoughts on sort of how things have gone. I'm sure obviously you guys can do the recap show on Saturday after Saturday's show, and we'll get a more complete picture of the Jose Young's Abu Dhabi experience, which has been I have to imagine both thrilling and also grueling. Something I forget. He's been doing great work down there. Jessica Crystal Crew, our dear friend Jessica the Crystal Crew. Jose gets it. Yeah.
Sorry, you were talking?
Yeah, he certainly does.
Casey. Casey, what was like the craziest knockout you've ever seen live? Like the one that just like really sticks out. Like I know you're normally like when you cover events, you're normally in the back, but like sometimes you get out front. I mean, is there like one knockout that you were like cage side for? You were just like, oh my god, like I can't believe I just saw that.
It wasn't necessarily a knockout, but I was cage side for Paul Daly versus Nick Diaz.
Oh, that's a damn.
So I have to be cage side for, in my mind, I think the greatest 1-round fight ever.
Yeah.
I mean, and
wow.
Yeah. So that to me, I was just like, but man, just pure. Oh, you know what it was? Maybe not the greatest knockout. This is a deep cut too. But it really like shook me. I'm like, oh my god, this sport rules, and good god, how is this legal? I saw Robbie Lawler. It was actually when I worked for Elite XC, and it was their first show in Hawaii at the Blaisdell, and it was Robbie Lawler murdering Ninja Hua, and Steve Mazzagatti was the ref, and that was he got on top, of just like ground and pound, and just like, oh no, he was hammer fisting. I was like, oh my god, I just can't believe this. I was just like, this is legal. Like, and at that time, really, MMA was just a job for me. It was like, it just paid the bills. I didn't know what the sport was, to be honest. And I was like, this is crazy. Because like I interviewed other guys before. I've watched their fights. They put in highlight reels together. But like seeing it up close and seeing two guys, you kind of talk. They're gentlemen before all week, and then for like that 10 minutes or 15 minutes, it's like just all hell. And then I see him backstage and like, hey guys, how you doing? So yeah, that one's got a special place.
Yeah, that's two crazy ones.
Mike, I saw a comment asking, what are those cards on your wall?
So, funny story. I have 3 posters on my wall. All of them I got for free from friends of my parents.
Yo,
but
we back. Sorry, that was
that's a story for another time.
John Anik picked up his mic, so we're ready.
We gotta wait till UFC 255 to hear the rest of the story.
Tune into the next stream.
Subscribe to the channel. Long story short, they're old school tobacco boxing cards from the 1920s and 30s.
What's going on, Jose?
Everyone stood up.
All right.
John Anik picked up the mic.
Coming in on a helicopter or something.
Everyone stood up. John Anik picked up his mic. Hammermen all ran to the front. There you go.
And our final fighter to weigh in this morning in the light heavyweight division, Iwan Kutelaba.
Iwan.
It's good news.
You guys hear everything okay?
So far so good. Sounds like you're in an airport, but it sounds fine, right?
Oh, we are.
Oh yeah.
We are.
Fair enough.
Also right next to a huge.
Looks in pretty good spirits, folks.
Ooh, can you zoom out? Zoom out, Jose. Got his head cut off. Thank you.
205.5, the official weight for the Hulk, Iwan Kutelaba.
Okay.
Very refreshing.
205.5 for Iwan Kutelaba, but let's keep in mind, and his opponent, rival Magomed Ankalaev, also weighed in 205.5. So that fight, as of now, is official. But let us remember, it made it as far as fight day last time, and also got canceled again. So fingers crossed. That does not happen, and we get to see these two get their rematch after their very controversial fight in February. Otherwise, we luckily have the services of one Izzy Vitakifu, who came out of nowhere to weigh in. One of Robert Whitaker's training partners came out of nowhere to weigh in as a potential substitute. But that is
what's your favorite Ichifuku fight? Okay.
Gosh, I mean, Casey, I gotta reach
you've
back.
You've been following him in the regionals for years.
I haven't. I really want to go back probably to his second fight in Eternal MMA. About 2017-ish, if I remember. Darcy Vendy. I know you guys are familiar with Darcy Vendy as well.
Tell everyone that story about his nickname.
Oh, his nickname, Doxy.
Oh, okay.
Dox is a popular Australian cartoon character that Izzy is named after.
I thought he was a fan of architecture.
No, that was Stefan Struve.
Man.
I know.
It's late in Boston.
We've had so many fighters weigh in today. Guys, I think we gotta do one last rundown for people. Which was a pretty eventful weigh-in. So, Mike, go ahead, do your best, and I want to hear all those. I want to hear all those alternates too.
We'll pop them up on the screen. I'll read them to you. So, I will say, Issy Vitikafu weighed in at 203.5. So that is good on him. Michael Chandler weighed in at 155 on the nose. So, in case something crazy happens, and we're not wishing that upon anybody. He's ready to go. Sergey Morizov also weighed in successfully at 139.5, I believe, in case he needs to be a backup for Nathaniel Wood or Casey Kenny. So we'll start at the beginning. Joelle Alvarez weighed in at 159.5, missing weight by 3.5 pounds. He takes on Alexander Yakovlev, who weighed in at 155.5. That is the first fight of the night. No word on fines or if that fight's going to move forward. Liana Jojua weighed in at 126, taking on the debuting Miranda Maverick, also weighed in at 126 pounds. Daun Jung weighed in at 206, taking on Sam Alvey, Smiling Sam, also weighing in at 206. Alex Cowboy Oliveira missed weight. He weighed in at 173, taking on the debuting Shavkat Rahmanov, who weighed in at 171. Casey Kenny, Nathaniel Wood, catch weight at 140 pounds. That is a go. Both fighters weighed in on the mark. Stefan Struve and Tai Tuivasa championship weight for both fighters in the featured prelim fight, 265 a pop. Then we head to the main card. Magomed Ankalaev and Iwan Kutalaba, both weighed in at 205.5. Lauren Murphy and Lilia Shakarova, the debuting Lilia Shakarova, 126 apiece. Phil Haas, Jacob Malkoun, 186 apiece. Then we go up to the heavyweight feature bout. Alexander Volkov, 265, taking on Walt Harris. Ruined the championship weight train at 254. The slim trim medium ticket Walt Harris, 254. Robert Whittaker, the former middleweight champion, weighted at 186, taking on Jared Cannonier, 185 on the nose. And of course, the big ticket, what brings everybody to the dance, Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Justin Gaethje. Both guys hit the mark, 155 pounds. Let's go.
Thank you, Mike. Yes, that was the complete rundown. As you said, we are still waiting to see what is up with Joelle Alvarez and Alex Oliveira, if their fights will go on, and if they will be penalized. But otherwise, people, this is all the information we have. You can check MMAfighting.com, of course, for another rundown, and again, a list of the alternates, which our truck, for whatever reason, did not consider worthy of this graphic. Izzy Fitakifu will be very upset with you, Truck. But as it is, Truck, what is the deal with face-offs? What do people need to know about the face-offs?
Like the process? Or like, wait a minute, like, so two
when
people walk toward each other. And
should they stay on this stream?
We talking about the John Travolta, Nick Cage classic film?
Oh man, nicely done.
Yes, John Woo's best American film, Face Off, correct. I could discuss. Unfortunately we don't have enough time to discuss that because I think we probably have less than 20. If we had started an hour ago, we could really dig into that. But what do people need to know about the stare downs, the weigh-in stare downs?
I think they're happening at the top of the hour. Is that correct, Jose? As far as you know?
As far as I know.
All right. So
the scale's still there.
I'm staying. I ain't going anywhere. I'm
I'm
fired
not
up.
staying.
I'm fired up on coffee and crystal talk. I can last another 30 minutes.
You guys are
Come on,
crazy.
okay?
And no, I'm not sticking around for another 20 minutes. So we'll just stay on the stream, correct, Casey?
yeah, we're staying on the stream. We're gonna go to a hold screen. And we're gonna play some really jazzy tunes, maybe some flute, some flute solos, and then at the top of the hour, we'll be coming back live with the face-offs. So,
but thank you, everyone. MMA wagers. I said Fitakifu. All right, I nailed the pronunciation on the name. Someone's calling me the Notorious Candy. We've definitely gone way too long. Okay, it's definitely we are way. If it's that point of the night, but you guys are crazy. Yeah. We still have. It looks like from what I can see about 2,500 people watching. Which again, the weigh-ins are over, guys. The weigh-ins are over. I love the traffic. I appreciate you guys sticking around, but please go whatever time zone you're in. If it's late, go to sleep. If it's in the middle of the day or something, go for a walk. Go enjoy your life. Some of you probably at work, I bet, watching this stream. And if that's the case, then you know what? Keep doing it. It's probably better off that way. But thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you for watching Mike Heck, who is in Boston.
Boston-ish.
Like, where do you live exactly?
I live in the Berkshires. Berkshire Mountains. Western Massachusetts.
Western Massachusetts. KC, California. Los
Inglewood.
Angeles. Inglewood. It's all good. And Jose Young's, of course, on site in Abu Dhabi, and myself up in Ontario, Canada. So thanks, everyone.
Did you see the big Borat float today in the river?
The big what?
Yeah, you live in Toronto, right?
I'm pretty far from downtown Toronto, but sure.
How do I know more about the fun happenings in Toronto than you?
Listen, go ahead and give us a Borat impression. Send us out, Casey. I know you want to commemorate the sequel, Borat 2, now on Amazon Prime.
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. And stare downs begin in about 16 minutes. My wife.
Perfect.
All right, we have officially hit the 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time mark as the UFC 254 weigh-ins has concluded, and now the fighters are going to face off in a matter of moments, which will be capped off by the main event champion versus interim champion Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Justin Gaethje for the undisputed 155-pound title. Couple of quick updates before we get to the face-offs. We did have a couple of weight misses, and the penalties have been passed down. Our own Jose Youngs on Twitter posted that Joelle Alvarez, who missed weight by 3.5 pounds, is going to forfeit 30% of his fight purse to Alexander Yakovlev, and Alex Cowboy Oliveira, who missed weight by 2 pounds, he will forfeit 20% of his purse to Shavkat Rahmanov, who weighed in at 171 pounds. So all the fights that are on the card as of right now are still on the card. Some penalties, some extra money for Yakovlev and Rahmanov. So there you go. As we await the arrival of the fighters, according to Jose in Abu Dhabi, fighters are all lined up.
I can't see who the first fighter is in line because they have like signs on the door, the glass door, so you can only see from like the chest down. But he has his shirt off, tucked into his shorts, so he is ready to go.
Okay. Is it DC?
Definitely not.
It's probably Yakovlev.
I think it is Alex Yakovlev.
Yeah.
So he's a tuck your shirt into your shorts type guy. All right. Good to know.
Dude.
He's a pro's pro.
What are you, Casey?
You know what? I'm starting to get into. Yeah.
Wrap it around my head.
Yeah. I kind of am into tucking t-shirts into sweatpants now. I don't know why.
All right, doors. God, I keep opening the door and people not named Dana White keep walking out.
Can you yell at them for us? You're not Dana.
Our breakfast this morning was cheese and chips, so I'll just throw a bunch of cheese at them.
Cheese and chips.
That's called salsa, by the way.
Oh, okay. Desert salsa.
Desert salsa is called cheese.
Breakfast of champions.
John Morgan is fired up about the cheese dilemma.
About the cheese dilemma?
I have seen John every single day for about 6 weeks, and I've never seen him this fired up.
Is everyone breaking now? Is everyone just hitting that breaking point?
Yeah, no, 100%. John's like, it feels like the last day of school. They give us cold cheese. We're ready to go. 2 more sweets.
They gave us cold cheese.
Only on the island, ladies and gentlemen. It's a unique time in the world, a unique time in our sport, and what a year it has been. It'll go down in our memories for a long time, especially those media members who have been there since day one. Because as you may know, some of the media members were there for like the first card, and then they went home, and then maybe came back for this one. There are other media members who skipped the first 4 cards and just came for this one. But
That's the majority.
But Jose, John Morgan, Oscar Willis, and maybe a couple of others, they were there the whole time.
If I count, I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us have been here the whole time.
Wow.
Me, John Morgan, Oscar, Dennis of RT Sports, Farah. Of course, works at MMA Junkie, but she's doing a lot for UFC Abu Dhabi. And Natasha, I think from AG Sport or whatever it is, the Brazilian media outlet. I'm not 100% what the actual one is.
Yeah.
So RT Sport has been there the whole time?
Yes.
So who's it? You said Dennis? Do we know him? Do I know him? No.
I don't think you do.
Oh, okay.
But he goes. I don't think he was supposed to come. He's never been to the States. He's supposed to come before the pandemic happened.
So is RT Sport? Are they just in the MMA thing now, or is it because of Khabib?
I think it's most well. They try to cover everything. Like if you notice, they hire a lot of freelancers from the United States to go cover events. Like I believe Drake Riggs, who's a journalist, was freelance for them in New York for the BMF title. There's been a few others that I've noticed too, but
interesting.
I think he's here.
Cool.
Oh, Dennis is there. I thought Dana was there.
Nope.
No, not yet.
And of course, Fanside is here. Cage Side News, I think, is here. Schmo is here. Helen Yee. few other Russian outlets, a couple French outlets, English. The Raptors, of course, Full Reptile missed the first one, but they've been here ever since. I think
This is a biggie.
Business Insider.
Business Insider's there?
Yeah, man.
That's badass. They're all coming out for Khabib versus Gaethje. This is it.
There's a few other media members I don't recognize.
And then come back to Vegas and prepare for the final fight of Anderson Silva's career.
I believe Alex Savas might be going to that one.
She is going.
Oh, how about that?
She is going. Yeah.
There you go.
Jose gets a breather.
My partner in crime, Alex Savas. I literally could not do this job this 5 weeks without her help.
Yeah, she's been unbelievable. And now that like Esther's no longer a part of the squad, I mean, she's with us in spirit and the iconic voice to open between the links and close between the links. But now Alex Savas has to deal with me bugging her like every single day. Can you make me a thumb for this? Can you make me a thing for this and for this? Like, I'm just such a pain in the ass.
New Englanders, man.
Yeah, I know. I did have just a little teaser. It's not UFC related, but had a very fun chat with one Gegard Mousasi earlier today, which I think you guys are going to dig. So I think we're going to drop that like Monday or Tuesday. And the guy is just a joy to talk to. Just so funny.
He is one of my favorite fighters ever, Mousasi.
He's way up there.
I mean, I'm happy for when other promotions get top level fighters, but man, I am kind of bummed that I probably never get to see Izzy Adesanya versus Mousasi.
Oh, Dana's here.
All right.
You heard Izzy, and that was it.
Thank you all for being here. We're going to stare these guys off. UFC President Dana White is in the building. It's UFC 254 Khabib versus Gaethje. And let us begin with the prelims. These two can be seen live on UFC Fight Pass and ESPN Plus. First out of the shoot in the lightweight division, Joelle Alvarez versus Alexander Yakovlev.
Of course, Joel Alvarez missed weight by 3.5 pounds, forfeiting 30% of his fight purse to Alexander Yakovlev.
All right, next up in the UFC Women's Flyweight Division, Liana Jojua versus the UFC newcomer Miranda Maverick.
It's going to be a good scrap. Ooh.
Right now we get to the middle stack of prelims. You can see these four live on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus. First up in the light heavyweight division, Dapper Jung versus Smiling Sam Allen.
Can hear Sam Avi, just the friendliest.
Sam, take that mask off. We want to see why you're caught smiling.
All right, next prelim comes your way in the welterweight division, Alex Cowboy Oliveira versus Shavkat Rahmanov.
Ooh, love this.
It's a good fight. It's a good fight.
Whoa.
Wow.
You love to see it.
I mean, Rahmanov is getting 20% of Oliveira's purse, so a lot to celebrate here. This is going to be a great fight.
All right, our next prelim will be contested at a catchweight of 140 pounds, Nathaniel Wood versus Casey Kenny.
Speaking of great fights, here we are.
And our featured prelim in the UFC heavyweight division, Stefan Struve versus Tai Tuivasa.
Gotta love heavyweight fights where both fighters make championship weight.
The heaviest UFC fight ever.
The heaviest of the heavy.
All right, that brings us to pay-per-view UFC 254 live, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, live on ESPN Plus pay-per-view. First up in the light heavyweight division, Magomed Ankalaev versus Iwan Kutelaba.
Oh, man. Here we go.
Ooh.
Wow. I mean, at this point, like, what's the point of even going face to face anymore?
Comes away the women's flyweight division. 5th ranked Lauren Murphy welcoming the UFC newcomer Lilia Shakirova.
UFC debut for Shakirova. Could make a huge dent in the 125-pound division on Saturday. Whoa!
Whoa! Hey, yeah.
And Lauren with the casual flip off.
Should be a good one here in the UFC's middleweight division. Jacob Malkoun versus Bill Hawes.
Wow, I'm a little surprised to see that. But you know, whatever.
Bill Hawes in the UFC. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, that's that. I mean, we knew it was going to happen. I mean, we expected it to happen at some point. Just the road took a little bit longer. We'll see what he's got on the big stage.
Division's top 10, 7th ranked Alexander Volkov versus number 10 Walt Harris.
Walt Harris could have made it a clean sweep for the championship weight at heavyweight, and he decided, nope. Just going to get all sorts of cut. Walt Harris at the media day said he feels he's the best striker in the heavyweight division, and Alexander Volkov took a little bit of exception.
Right now, the co-main event, the UFC's middleweight division, the former undisputed champion and number 1 contender, Robert Whitaker, taking on 2nd-ranked Jared Cannonier.
UFC official is just hustling them out. Well-oiled machine.
I like the UFC just said, take your shirts off before you go out there. Like, none of this.
Yeah. Really fascinating fight at 185 pounds. Whitaker's first 3-round fight since 2016.
And finally, here on Fight
There we
Island,
go.
the main event for the undisputed UFC lightweight championship of the world, the champion Khabib Nurmagomedov versus the interim champ Justin Gaethje. All right, it shall be done tomorrow night, folks. Khabib Nurmagomedov, Justin Gaethje for the undisputed lightweight title. One more sleep. We'll see you tomorrow night.
One more.
That
sleep.
face-off said it all. Well, actually, technically for me, it's 2 more sleeps. So there you go. For us normal folk, not in Abu Dhabi right now. But there you have it. I mean, that face-off. What else do you need to say? You're going to be seeing that video all over the place for the next couple of days to get you fired up for Saturday. Of course, tomorrow, preview show, and we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to do it live tomorrow. We're going all the way live. I believe we're doing what, 1 p.m. Eastern, Casey?
Yeah, 1 p.m. Eastern. We'll be going live 1 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
10 a.m. Pacific.
So we're going to be previewing this event with all of you. So get excited, get ready, and get some sleep, ladies and gentlemen. So for Jose AK's in Betty Bye right now. For Casey Lyden, all of you, thank you very much for checking out the stream. I'm going to Betty Bye myself. We'll see ya tomorrow, everybody.
Good night.